All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Peters. I'm the Director of Emergency Management for Leon County, and welcome to the 2021 hurricane season kickoff press conference. Officials from Leon County, the City of Tallahassee, and local nonprofits, as well as state organizations, are here today to encourage disaster preparedness for all members of our community, from the youngest members to the oldest. This has been an unprecedented year. And though we cannot meet in person at our annual Build Your Bucket event, we've been doing lots of preparedness for hurricane season. Before we discuss hurricane season 2021, we must reflect on how 2020 tested our emergency plans in every possible way. As we all know, we've been challenged by a global pandemic, which has challenged everyone from our local Leon County families to national governments worldwide. For emergency management, this public health disaster has meant coordinating at every level, from distributing over 2 million pieces of personal protective equipment, to healthcare surge planning, to vaccination rollout, to public information. And for the county, the pandemic has meant providing millions in direct federal assistance to local businesses, nonprofits, and most importantly, our families in this community. And all this while we experienced one of the most active hurricane seasons in recorded history. While our county was spared any direct impacts, we know it only takes one storm to change how we live, because disasters and disaster preparedness are family affairs. That's why we are using the kickoff to the 2021 hurricane season to remind everyone just that. Preparedness is a family affair for everyone, no matter your age, from the youngest to the oldest members of every family. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Billy the Bucket. Billy, take a step forward. Now, I would invite Billy to say some words this year, but he's going to keep a lid on it. But Billy would be the first to say that children are an important part of every family disaster plan and disaster supply kit. Remember, everyone in the family should have a well-stocked disaster supply bucket, but one of a 5-gallon variety, nothing quite as large as Billy. As we turn to the 2021 season, we must acknowledge that many communities to our west are still recovering from Hurricane Michael, from ongoing debris clearance efforts to the rebuilding effort. Hurricane Michael called for the largest activation in Leon County history, and we met that challenge head on. This readiness to respond comes from the county's commitment to improve after every disaster, through extensive after-action reports from storms like Hurricane Hermine, Irma, and Michael. Each emergency exposes vulnerabilities and tests our plans and partnerships and gives us the opportunity to improve. With 213 after-action and improvement report recommendations, we are more than ready to respond this hurricane season. We need the same commitment from every member of our community to be prepared as the 2021 season approaches. As you may have seen, forecasts are calling for another above-average hurricane season. With this in mind, all of us in Leon County, in coordination with local health care and public health efforts, encourage all eligible citizens to get a COVID-19 vaccine as soon as possible. It's one of the best preparedness activities you can do ahead of hurricane season, or really at any time. Quite simply, the COVID-19 vaccine is your best shot against the virus. To start preparing for hurricane season, county and city officials encourage you to have critical emergency supplies for the whole family, like the ones you see here on the table. Keeping the disaster supplies in a 5-gallon bucket is an easy way to stay ready. Buckets are waterproof and can serve many different purposes, especially if you have to leave at a moment's notice. Citizens will have a chance to learn more about building their disaster supply bucket with the county's Build Your Bucket website. Although we can't meet in person this year for a Build Your Bucket event, we will make it available in a virtual format by visiting leoncountyfl.gov/disaster bucket. At that website, you can learn more about gathering supplies, finding local resources, and overall disaster preparedness information. As we've done in the past, today's speakers will put preparedness items into our disaster bucket that will help the whole family be prepared in case of a hurricane. And the first thing you should place inside your disaster bucket is a copy of the 2021 Disaster Survival Guide. The guide is filled with important information to prepare, act, and recover from hurricanes. From our local nonprofits to county and city services and more, this guide has all the information you need to be prepared. The guide was recently distributed in the Sunday Tallahassee Democrat and will be available in the coming days at county and city facilities. And you can find a copy online at www.haveahurricaneplan.com. Now, I'd like to introduce Rick Miner, Chairman of the Leon County Commission, to speak further about disaster preparedness for 2021.
All right, Rick. Great. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin, and good morning to everyone. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge the hard work of Kevin Peters and our County Emergency Management team, who have now been activated in the county's Emergency Operations Center for more than 425 days. Thank you so much, Kevin, you and your team. Also, I want to recognize the steadfast leadership of our County Administrator, Mr. Vince Long. While we hope for no storm this season, we couldn't be safer with you and the team coordinating our community's response efforts. Our board appreciates you, Vince. Thank you. With that said, at Leon County government, we know firsthand the importance of resilience in the face of disaster, and at every level of our organization and in the community we serve. After Hurricane Hermine, Hurricane Irma, and Hurricane Michael, and the COVID-19 pandemic in back-to-back years, our community has been tested like never before, and I am proud of the way we have worked together to respond to and improve from each disaster. The resilience of our citizens, neighborhoods, and community partners did not go unnoticed. Thank you for all your commitment for the community's health and to disaster preparedness, especially our healthcare providers who have been on the front line for so long. I'm glad that we are joined today by so many community partners who all play an integral role in keeping us safe during disasters, from our sheriff to our mayor to our state and nonprofit partners. To represent this disaster resilience, in 2018, Leon County was designated as the first hurricane-strong community in the nation by FEMA and FLASH, the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes. But this designation doesn't mean our work is done. In fact, it's always ongoing. Hurricane Strong is about making our strong response to disaster even stronger for the next time. And though we hope there's never a next time, we have to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. As we look towards an above normal hurricane season, all of us up here today want to take the moment and encourage preparedness before disaster strikes. Plan now before it's too late. And to help our citizens prepare, the county's Build Your Bucket program remains virtual this year. We encourage everyone to visit leoncountyfl.gov/disaster bucket to learn more about how to build your bucket and be prepared for hurricane season. And while you're online, don't forget to download the Leon County Citizens Connect app to receive push notifications of critical updates. Lastly, the county will continue its commitment to go live on our local radio station, 88.9 WFSU FM. To represent the importance of being prepared as a whole family, I'm putting aside the disaster inside the disaster bucket some games and puzzles. As a father of 2 young daughters, I know activities can be a big part of staying calm during uncertain times. So let's face it, we may not have the power to charge game systems and other electronics. So if you're a parent, like I am, and you're gonna be out of power for an extended amount of time, for the love of God, please, don't forget your games that don't need electricity. So try to go all out. This is very important. Thanks so much. And Billy, what do you think of the games? All right. All right, thank you all very much. I'd now like to invite our illustrious sheriff, Mr. Walt McNeil. Sheriff?
Can I get my first responder partners to join me up here? Chief Abrams? We can't, there's no one entity in public safety that does this by ourselves. Thank you to Chairman Miner for those words. Good morning. I am Leon County Sheriff Walt McNeil. As the chair said, the citizens of Leon County must get prepared and stay prepared. We cannot wait until we are in the area cone to start making our preparations. In the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, it is forecast to have an above normal activity. It's important for all of us to have a plan before the disaster strikes. To prepare, the Leon County Sheriff's Office and all of our partners that you see standing with me here, we prepare year-round. for all types of disasters. As law enforcement, we understand how important it is to be prepared. Our command staff and our deputies and officers are out there every day preparing for the event these disasters strike. We, the citizens of Leon County, must have the same enduring dedication to being prepared and doing everything we can so that we are keeping ourselves safe and keeping our community safe. Just as important to plan before the disaster strikes, the citizens must, in fact, focus on those minor things that we sometimes think are not important. For example, it's important to make sure that we identify those important papers, those documents, insurance policies, those loved ones, those family photos of your loved ones, and to take those and put those in a safe place. And what better safe place can there be than to place those items, as I will here. You can catch that, Chief.
That's right.
Your important papers in an envelope like this and place it in your bucket. Now, we'd like to introduce our mayor of the city of Tallahassee, Mayor John Daly. Hey, thank you for all you do. I really do appreciate it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Daly. I am the proud mayor of the great city of Tallahassee. It's my honor and privilege to be here today. When it comes to natural disasters, preparation is vital to a successful recovery. As we gear up for what is predicted, and as we have already mentioned, to be a very active hurricane season, I too want to urge the residents to take the steps necessary to prepare and protect themselves and their families. Make a plan. Build the kit. Stay informed. These 3 simple steps can help you and your family and friends be hurricane ready. While you are preparing, rest assured that the city of Tallahassee is doing the same. Frontline crews from electric, water, sewer, solid waste, aviation, stormwater, traffic, police, fire, communications, customer service, in fact, all of our departments plan year-round. They inspect infrastructure, check resources, review best practices from peer agencies, and ensure that we are prepared to respond should the need arise locally or as part of our mutual aid agreements with our neighboring communities. Additionally, over the past few years, the city has doubled down on its response training to ensure that, should they be needed, all city employees could be called upon to assist in response and recovery efforts, from internal logistics supporting field crews to opening community comfort stations for the public. That said, during a disaster, there may be a period of time when responders are unable to reach you. You are the best first line of defense for you, your family, your friends, and for your neighborhood, which is why we urge all neighborhoods to prepare together. To help, the City of Tallahassee offers the free Neighborhood Prep Toolkit, which is available to download at talgov.com/prep. talgov.com/prep. The city and our employees take the task of preparing for hurricane season very seriously. We live in this community and depend on city services as well. Every department, every employee, from procurement to real estate to animal services to HR, we all support the city's preparedness efforts in some way. Through the city itself, you have nearly 3,000 dedicated employees who are also neighbors that are trained, ready, and willing to help. From the first warning through the final stages of recovery, the city will have employees working to ensure our core services are as functional as possible. Our crews, in conjunction with the agencies that you see here today and other mutual aid partners, will be dispatched throughout the community to address issues during a disaster. Folks, we are very fortunate in our community to have a highly cooperative working relationship with our good friends at the county, other agency partners, with the state of Florida, and together it creates a safer, more resilient community for all of us. Organizations are constantly preparing, and we urge you to do the same. For my part, I will be placing water in the bucket. And I will be taking one with me to the back line. In closing, I am proud to join all of my friends and colleagues from the state, from the county, and by the way, as well, Mr. Chairman, Kevin Peters has done a tremendous job, Director of Emergency Management here on the local level, and we certainly do appreciate all that he has done. It is my honor and privilege to introduce Amy Godsey from the Florida Division of Emergency Management, State Meteorologist, for a few comments. Amy?
All right, thank you, Mayor. All right, yes, at the Florida Division of Emergency Management, we are working together with all of our partners statewide to encourage Floridians to respond to emergencies, recover from them, and mitigate against their impacts. And during the last 3 years, Florida has experienced multiple hurricane and tropical storm impacts. And Hurricane Michael was the first hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. as a Category 5 since Hurricane Andrew, which also struck Florida in 1992. But we know that tropical systems of any magnitude can pose a serious threat to lives and property. We've seen storms intensify quickly as they approach our coastline. So please take preparedness actions seriously and monitor local weather conditions as forecasts can change. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has predicted, as you've heard from our previous speakers, another active season ahead of us. We can expect 13 to 20 named storms, of which 6 to 10, roughly half, could become hurricanes, including 3 to 5 major hurricanes, which is Category 3 or higher. But no matter what this season could bring, we want to encourage preparedness. We've seen that hurricanes are not coastal events. Their impacts, high winds, heavy rainfall, tornadoes, can spread well inland and devastate the community with just one storm. So I want to encourage everyone to think about their home's vulnerabilities. Do you live near trees? Does your home, does your yard, does your street flood easily in heavy rainstorms? And think about the actions you can take to keep your home safe this year. The other action is, of course, building your disaster supply kit to last you 5 to 7 days. And consider the needs of all of your family members. As we mentioned, youngest to oldest, elderly family members, your small children, and pets, or fur babies, right? So with this year's focus on the whole community and our whole family and preparedness actions, I want to place in the bucket pet food and toys for preparing our families this year. Now I'd like to welcome Jocelyn Fligger, CEO of Elder Care Services.
Thank you, Amy. At Elder Care Services, we serve a particularly vulnerable community. Both the COVID-19 pandemic and disasters like hurricanes can be especially dangerous for our senior community members. That's why it's so important for seniors to prepare and for others to make sure our elderly friends, neighbors, and family members are also prepared ahead of any disaster. Throughout the pandemic and into the upcoming hurricane season, we've adapted our operations to ensure that the seniors we serve receive the supplies and the care that they need to be safe. Thanks to Leon County government, Elder Care Services will receive 100 disaster buckets just like this one, with critical starter supplies for our seniors. With another above average hurricane season beginning today, these supplies are critical in ensuring the well-being of some of our most vulnerable community members. For our seniors and our entire community, we recommend assembling a week-long supply of prescription medicines, along with a list of all medications, their proper dosages, and any relevant allergies before a disaster strikes. Therefore, I'm adding medication to our disaster preparedness bucket. And although the last item we'll add to the bucket today is this medication, it's not the last item in a well-stocked kit. Be sure to visit leoncountyfl.gov/disaster bucket to learn more about what should go in your disaster preparedness kit. And with that, I'd like to welcome Kevin Peters back up. Kevin?
Thank you, Jocelyn, and thank you to all the work that you do to help our seniors in our community prepare for disaster every year. It means a lot to have you join us today. So while this ends our press conference, our citizens must begin to prepare now. Download the Leon County Citizens Connect app. It's your best source of information for up-to-the-minute updates during disasters from the Emergency Operations Center. For Hurricane Michael, the app gave push notifications of shelter openings, sandbag locations, and county comfort stations. All the information you need to know in a crisis. Also, pick up a copy of the Disaster Survival Guide or download it online at www.haveahurricaneplan.com. And also, work on building your disaster supply bucket through our virtual Build Your Bucket at leoncountyfl.gov/disaster bucket. And finally, roll up your sleeve to get vaccinated against COVID-19. If you're already vaccinated, have a conversation with a loved one about getting vaccinated as well. Remember, it's your best shot against the virus. We all have a role in disaster preparedness, and now's the time to prepare. Thank you all for attending today.